I live alone, so everything's my fault. At least that's the attitude I have now. Hi, my name's Jim. If you haven't seen my videos before, I talk about chronic pain a lot. Mine's due to about 45 years with thoracic outlet syndrome now. I've also had 3 back surgeries, including a 2-level lumbar fusion on the levels L4-5 and L5-S1. That was about 7 years ago. And I've also had endocarditis twice and had a heart valve replaced about 12 years ago. And my wife died a little over 6 years ago now, so I've lived alone, for the last 6 years. This is actually the 3rd place that I've lived. I lived in the place that she died at, and then I moved to my grandparents' place and lived there for a year or 2, and then I moved to this little tiny place I'm in right now, which is just like a little studio. It has a kitchen and there's enough room for a bed and a dresser, and that's it. No furniture, TVs on the wall, so really tiny place. But like I was saying, living alone for the past 6 years, there's nobody else to blame things on, so I've learned to just, you take responsibility for everything. I just look at everything's my fault. It's like, it'll drive me crazy, like if I misplace something, like say I'm using scissors or something like that, and I set them down and I can't find them. I'm like, I know they're right here, like right under my nose somewhere. It'll drive me absolutely crazy until I find them. But like I said, I don't know, like in the past, how many times I would probably blame someone else for things like that. But when you live alone, you start to realize like how many things are actually your own fault, and you learn not to blame other people for things. It's really changed my perspective on everything. Like, you turn on the TV or the social media, whatever, and, everybody's pointing the finger. This is that person's fault or that person's fault. Or if you read a post on the social media, everybody's arguing about, whose fault this is and who's right and who's wrong, and it's just constant. But when you live by yourself, I've learned that to just, okay, whatever happens is my fault, good my fault, bad my fault. You learn to take self-responsibility, and I think that's really, if more people could learn that, it would really be a good thing in the world. You can't control what other people do, but you can only control your own self and your own actions. So that's something I've really learned from living alone, is to take self-responsibility for everything. There's a guy I listen to named Gary Vaynerchuk sometimes. He's a entrepreneur, and he says the same thing. Everything is my fault. He's like, he always says, take self-responsibility. Take, what does he call it? Accountability. Be accountable for all your mistakes and, learn from them, and don't be pointing the finger here, don't be pointing the finger there. Everything's your fault. Learn from it and move on. And sometimes that can be kind of hard to do, like when you do something really dumb. Like, it's easy to you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that. It's like, it's like something that should have been obvious that you screwed up on. But, everybody makes mistakes. We all make mistakes. You have to, I think the sooner you can just say, hey, I made a mistake, learn from it, move on, try not to make the same mistake again, and just try to learn from it and keep moving on. But everybody likes to point fingers at you when you make a mistake, especially if you're on YouTube like that. Like on my cooking channel, I kind of do everything live, and once in a while you screw something up, and it's just kind of, it's in the videos. If I make a mistake, I'll just kind of point it out, like, here's what I would have done different. I kind of messed that up, but, we all learn from it, and, you just move on. And some people say that makes things more interesting. I don't really have bloopers or anything because they're in the videos. So I think that's something I've really learned from living by myself. I said something about that on Facebook one day, and someone said, well, when you're married, everything's my fault too. I was kind of thinking that too. It's like when you're married, it's like when your wife's not happy, then they always blame everything on you too. But anyway, I think, you kind of look at everything that happens to you, you learn from it, and you take what you can from it. But that's the big thing I've learned from living alone, is everything is my fault. Be accountable, take responsibility for everything. I think that's one of the big problems in the world today is people just don't want to do that. They want to point the finger at everybody else. So anyway, hope you liked the video. If you have comments, leave them down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.